Carlos Alcaraz, the recent US Open champion, will not be part of Spain's Davis Cup team for the second round of qualifying against Denmark in Valencia on September 12th to 13th. The news hit Spanish fans hard just hours after the 22-year-old lifted his 6th Grand Slam trophy in New York, defeating Jannik Sinner in yet another chapter of their growing rivalry and reclaiming the world number one ranking for the first time since 2023. The official reason for his absence is physical fatigue after the demanding American swing, something that makes sense considering the effort required and the challenge of switching from US hard courts to European clay in only a few days. For Spain, this is a serious blow. Alcaraz holds a 5-1 win-loss record in the Davis Cup since debuting in 2022, and his presence is always a huge boost for teammates and fans alike. Without him, Captain David Ferrer will have to adjust and rely on a group of solid but less celebrated players. Jaume Munar, Roberto Carballes Baena, Pablo Carreño Busta, Pedro Martinez, and doubles specialist Marcel Granollers. It's a team with experience but without the superstar appeal that Alcaraz brings, and it's not just Carlos. Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, another key player for Spain's new generation, is also unavailable. This leaves the Spanish side with second-line players, with Munar likely stepping in as the number one singles option. Still, Davis Cup history has proven time and time again that anything is possible when a team competes at home with passionate crowd support. Valencia will host the tie with hopes that teamwork and grit can make up for the absence of big names. On the other side of the net, Denmark will be led by Holger Rune. The young star, currently ranked among the world's best, has had an up-and-down season but remains dangerous and motivated. He'll be backed by Elmer Muller, August Holmgren, Christian Sigsgaard, and Johannes Ingildsson. On paper, Spain still has more depth, but without Alcaraz and Davidovich, the tie feels much closer, and Rune suddenly becomes the headline player in this clash. Alcaraz's absence has already sparked debate. For some, the decision is logical. After such an exhausting US summer, and with the season's final stretch looming, his body needs recovery. Switching surfaces so quickly could increase the risk of injury, and pushing himself might be a strategic mistake. For others, though, it's a disappointment. Spain has a long history of seeing its top stars commit to Davis Cup. Rafa Nadal set that standard, and expectations were high that Alcaraz would embrace the same role. To miss this tie feels to some like a letdown. Beyond Spain, this adds another chapter to the Alcaraz-Sinner storyline. While Carlos takes a break, Jannik will lead Italy in their own Davis Cup tie, reinforcing his image as a committed leader. That contrast fuels discussion. Their rivalry is no longer just about what happens on court, it's about how they carry the responsibility of representing their nations. In any case, the story isn't over. Spain must now prove it can compete without its biggest star and fight for a spot in November's finals in Bologna. If they succeed, fans may still see Alcaraz back in red later this year. Until then, the big question is clear. Will Spain's depth and team spirit be enough to beat Denmark without their number one? Valencia will give us the answer in a weekend that could define the country's path in this year's Davis Cup.